Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. Welcome back to Midweek All Stars. We have got game week 23 tonight, heading towards the playoffs, and almost every game got something riding on it. So a quick look through the fixtures. We've got AFC Townsville, Blitz, Aborigines, Rapinui, Hobart, Dragons, Unicorns, Warriors, Tutavua, Wanganui, Vikings. Just have a look who is about. I was going to try and prioritise the games in sort of importance order, but to be honest, most games have got something riding on it in terms of playoffs and top two and that sort of stuff, barring AFC and Townsville. But we've got a request from Jens to go first, so we will start there for Jens. So good evening to Jens and Chris and Daz, Tato, Mega Horse, and anybody else who's lingering in the background and not in the chat. So a quick look at the table before we start. Warriors and Tutavua in the top two, and I think could both secure Q tonight, depending on results. Vanuatu, Rapanui, Blitz, and Wanganui make up the top six, with Dragons, Vikings, Hobart, and Bushrats just about still in the mix for the playoffs. Unicorns, Aborigines, Townsville, and AFC make up the rest. So we will skip across to Jens and the Vikings. And we will start there. So Jens makes no changes, as is from the last time out. So 4 or 5 unbeaten for Jens, probably 3 or 4 wins in that as well. Put themselves right back in the playoff hunt, and they are up against Daz, who's... Oh, hang on a second. Jens against Savage, who looks like this from last time out. No change, just the armband back to Jeremy's. So we will kick this one off. Vikings versus Wanganui. An early chance for Cesarco, good save from Bartes. And Savage has joined us, and Duggan, evening chaps, hope you're well. 27 minutes in, no goals as of yet. Feels quite like a scrappy midfield battle, as Wanganui have probably been involved in quite a lot this season. Tight, tedious affairs. And we get to half-time at 0-0, 3 attempts from the home side, 2 for the away side. We'll start with Savage. Barter's doing well, as he usually does. 7s and 6s across the board for everybody else. Nothing real of note to shout about for Mike. Across at Vikings, very similar story, in a game that's had very few chances, no goal mouth action. 7s and 6s throughout. Probably wouldn't expect any knee-jerk reactions from either manager yet, but we will just wait and see if anybody wants to do anything. And we're going to see us for Wanganui. Bermuda Carr is going to be withdrawn for Nelson Cuevas on the right-hand side. Jens is going to run as is. So we will get back to the second half. Vogel into the book for a foul on Joe Cole. Wanganui coming forward with Mido, but Montero intercepts. Zalco with a chance over the bar. Cuevas half-time sub and balled a little bit out on the right-hand side for Wanganui as we head towards 60 minutes. Still no real chances to shout about. Quick look over at the stats with just the 1 attempt for Wanganui since half-time. No real change in the ratings. Got Mido on 80 fitness for Wanganui, but apart from that, nothing to shout about. Just pretty average performance throughout. And a very similar story over at Vikings. Both keepers doing well. Chala Chaos into the book. Joe Cole struggling a little bit on a 5. Might see Carlos Jacks for Cole or some kind of formation tweak for Jens. But we'll wait and see what each manager wants to do. Mike's going to go as is, so we'll see if Jens is going to do anything to try and change his fortunes and get that all-important goal in the last 30 minutes. So we've got Jacks for Cole as predicted. Move him to AMC with an arrow. We're on centre mid without an arrow like that. Familiar change for Jens in the last few weeks. See if that can change his fortune. So we'll get the remainder of this game underway. Says I'll go with a chance. Charlie Chaos involved as well. Big chance for Berg for Wanganui there, but save. Robbie Keane as well with a chance. Wanganui putting on a little bit of pressure. And up the bar. Even Dimble, hope you're well. Heading towards the last 10 minutes, Wanganui having a positive spell in the game, and Montero has been sent off for Vikings. We've got Igor Tudor on the bench. I would very much doubt that Jens is going to gamble one at the back. We're still probably 15 minutes left with added time. Mike, have a think if there's anything you want to do tactically in response to whatever Jens does. We'll potentially drop and die into centre half. Or sacrifice an attacking player and put Tudor on. Tudor for Victor. Victor for Tudor. Tudor to centre back. Jacks to right mid, yep. Okay. Put on an arrow and nothing for Savage. So, are we going to get a goal? We've got 4 minutes left to play now into added time. I'm going to be pushing for that late winner against Temmen. They've got a corner, but Temmen Vikings hold on. Not a classic. I think a point is a better result for Mike than Jens at this stage. Wanganui came on really strong in that last 30 minutes. 10 attempts from them, just a 3 from the Vikings. Jeremy's moves up to an 8, as does Landon Donovan and Gary Neville. And probably unlucky not to get a goal in that last 30 minutes over at Vikings. Toldo picks up man of the match. 5 for Montero after a red card, and Joe Cole. No real impact from the subs. Gattuso and Andai did a decent job in midfield along with Charlie Chaos. A point apiece doesn't enhance either side's chances, but probably doesn't damage it too much, and we'll still go into the last 3 games in the mix. Takes us nicely across to a game that doesn't really matter. Hodgie made a couple of changes. Van Bronckhorst into DMC, Stankovic into central midfield. And for Rocks, there was no submission, so he is as is from last time out. Not sure if Hodge is about, but if you are, give us a shout. And we'll get this one underway. Battle of the bottom in a bid to avoid the wooden spoon. Got an injury to Javan. So that's going to be a straight swap for Montella. I give Rocks 10 seconds just to make sure he's not here before I do that. I assume that's what Rocks would do anyway, although saying that with Rocks you never know. But it doesn't seem like we've got either manager here. Brugging has opened the scoring just before the break for AFC, who could leapfrog Townsville at the bottom with a win, I believe. Or maybe not, 5 points adrift. So, stats: 3 attempts, 2 on target for AFC, just the 1 attempt from Townsville. Nesta doing a decent job at the back on his own, doing all the tackling. Steve's joined us. Good evening, which means we can get Steve and Tato's game on next. Over at AFC, a yellow card for Cannavaro, but a decent performance, 6 tackles, all key, all successful. And I'm just going to give the guys 20 seconds to pop up. If not, I'm going to run this one all the way through to 90 minutes since none of them are here and there's nothing riding on the game. Okay, we're going to go ahead and run this game through to a conclusion. And Rakoba has the ball in the net, but somebody is offside and it's been ruled out. 66 minutes on the clock. AFC pushing forward and flies by to 81 minutes. IMR involved for Townsville, and there is an equaliser from Morientes, 1 apiece heading into the last few minutes, and they fly by, and we have got a 1-1 draw. Pretty even game. A few more chances for AFC. Cannavaro picks up man of the match for a really good defensive performance. Baumer did well. From the left, over at Townsville, Nesta really strong at the back by himself. Really strong at the back. But we get a 1-1 draw. And that takes us nicely to Bushrats versus Vanuatu in a game that has big implications on the playoffs. Potentially Vanuatu currently in 3rd and looking to move into the top 2. And we have got Bushrats on 28 points, most definitely last chance saloon, and will definitely need a win to close the gap on Blitz and Wanganui. The Bushrats line up like this. We have got Stewart in, Lasisi back in, Gustavo Lopez on the right hand side, Red on the left midfield, with Giggs dropping to the bench. Over at Vanuatu, we've just got the one change, I think. Simone is out, Paredes in, and Finnan is in as well for Volodenko. So 2 changes for Steve. The Bushrats against Vanuatu, 3rd game of the evening. Big game in terms of the playoff picture. "25 minutes in, yet to see a goal or a clear-cut chance." Pretty even in terms of the text of possession, but we have got an opening goal from Christian Vieri for the Bushrats. That will please Tato very much, just to give him a little bit of hope heading into the last 3 games that they could potentially put a little run together. 4 attempts from them, just the 1 for Vanuatu. Assist coming from Lee Young Pure. And decent performance from him, as well as Lasisi and Vieri, who scored the goal over at Vanuatu. Constantino having a decent game, getting involved a little bit, but not a great deal of possession or chances created for Steve. Van der Vaart, who's been exceptional, struggling a little bit. As is from Tato, so we'll go to Steve, see if there's anything he wants to do. And Steve's going to roll it to 60, so we will do that. Vanuatu started the strongest, coming forward at the start of the second half. Bushrats down the other end, coming forward now. Paredes into the book. Gustavo Lopez with a free kick deflected and cleared by Petit. Bushrats continue to come forward. heading towards 60 minutes. Is there another goal before the break? Crespo with a big chance, but that is wide. So I would love a second goal here. We get to 60 minutes. Still 1-0. Still nothing more from Vanuatu. Bushrats, they're more likely to get a second goal. On the balance of things, you would think. Liam Pugh up to a 9, having a great game. Michael Stewart on an 8 as well. Vieri up to a 9. And then over at Vanuatu, not a great performance. Paredes doing okay in for Simone, but he's on a booking. Constantino again, still on an 8, but apart from that, pretty average and nothing to shout about. Probably expect changes from Stee. Won't be surprised if Tato rolls it again, but we'll see. Yeah, Tato is going to roll it. Apprehensive about how the last 30 minutes will go, but nothing from him. We'll just wait and see what Stee does. Potentially see Franca. We're going to have Brozek right of Constantino. Robin's going to go central with an arrow. Right, Constantino. Robin central with an arrow. So let's see if that changes things. Free Robin up a little bit. Big 30 minutes in the season coming up for these two. Another big chance for Crespo, and it is a second goal for Bushrats. Ambrosini has doubled the lead, and you would think that Bushrats should be holding on to this now. Vanuatu have not created a great deal throughout. Bushrats have definitely been the better side. A glimmer of hope for Tato. Paredes picked up a second yellow, I think for a push, and has been sent off just about heading into stoppage time. Wouldn't be surprised if Steve just drops Petit central here. I wouldn't think he would be bothering with Lusanov, but we shall see. Tato, if there's anything you want to do, then okay, magic and magic. Thanks for the quick response, chaps. We'll run this one the last couple of minutes and we get to full time. Really important win for Bushrats. Unfortunate for Steve, but can't really argue that Bushrats were the better side. 10 attempts, 6 on target. Just the 4 for Vanuatu. Lee Young-Pyo picks up man of the match. Assist for Crespo. Look lively up front with Vieri. Goal from him as well, and a really strong performance from Bushrats. And on the flip side of that, not the best from Vanuatu. Poor performance. Yes, he's saying in the comments that looked good for a few weeks and then put in a poor performance, and that looks exactly like what has happened. But Bushrats take the 3 points. Tato lives on. Next up, why is that team not set up? Let me have a quick look at this. Apologies for the delay. It seems I have overlooked 1 or 2 of these submissions. Don't know if Rob's about, but you've not sent any subs through, Rob, and you've only named 3. It looks like you don't have a defender on the bench. So we will go with Sand for the versatility. So Rapa Nui against Hobart. Line up like this. Dan has set his side up prior, so slight change in shape. We've got Adrian Mutu coming into partner Kutasov, back to the previous formation for Dan. Inzaghi up front by himself. Shevchenko suspended. So another game where Hobart hoping to keep the hopes alive. Rapa Nui looking probably up and down. Having been in the top two a fair bit over the last few weeks. Currently. "25 minutes, nothing." But as I say that, it is Salas back into the side on 28 minutes, who puts Rapa Nui in front. You would think that Hobart's chances probably die with a defeat here for this season, but we still have 45 minutes to go. Dan did say to me that he might not be about tonight. But if you are here, Dan, give us a shout. On Rob, again, I've not seen you, so give me a shout if you're here. But 3 attempts for Rapa Nui, just 2 for Hobart. Salas with the goal, assist coming from Raquelme back into the side in attacking midfield tonight. Candela playing well, as is Kovalchuk, Materazzi and Salas. Over at Hobart, 6s and 7s, with the exception of Michelini, who's done well for them so far. But again, we will just give the managers 20 seconds or so. Don't think either are with us, so if they're not, we will, just because of the importance of the game, stop it at 60, just in case either of them turn up briefly. So we will run it to 60 minutes. We're getting there now, off the woodwork, I think, from Salas. Quick look through the stats, but nothing of note to shout about. Same in terms of the numbers and performance. No real change since half time. David's up to an 8 now for Hobart. Again, we'll just give the guys 10 seconds to see if anyone's here, and if not, we will run it through. You would think Rapa Nui would probably close to a top 6 spot if they win this. We'll run it through now. And yeah, as I say, Hobart's season probably finishes here in terms of playoff chances if they can't turn it round in the next 15 minutes. But they have equalised. John McCow, who did score, I'm pretty sure last time out for Hobart, has given them a glimmer of hope into the last 10 minutes. Inzaghi, who scored some big goals this season, with a chance. But it is Lee Bowyer who looks to have scored the winning goal for Rapa Nui. Again, he's been a good play for Rob and Rapa Nui this season, and it does finish Rapa Nui 2, Hobart 1. 6 attempts, 3 on target for Rapa Nui, 4 attempts, 3 on target for Hobart. Probably just didn't create enough. Got a goal back, but couldn't kick on from that. McCoud with the goal, assist coming from Madavicchia. Yellow cards for David, Michelini and Madavicchia, who all rate an 8, as well as the goal scorer. Over at Rapa Nui, Riquelme picks up man of the match, who got an assist, as did Rabasandra Tana. Bowyer with a solid performance, Kovalchuk and Salas, who scored. And big result for Rob, which probably sees them guaranteed a playoff spot. Next up, we have Duggan's Dragons, who again are probably looking at last chance saloon if they lose tonight. Maybe not, but you know, a win would definitely boost their chances, and they line up like this. As is, I think. Torres is in for the injured Cliver. Duggan is about, or was. And at the Unicorns, we've got Mr. Mega Horse in charge for the remainder of the season. No change in shape for Unicorns yet. But Jardel has come in up front since the last game, which was Comandini. So good luck to both managers, Dragons versus Unicorns, in another game with big playoff implications. 30 minutes in, no real clear-cut chances yet. And we're approaching half-time. Collins with a chance goes wide. Collins again with a chance. Torres down the other end. But we get to half-time. Dragons 0, Unicorns 0. 4 attempts, Dragons 5 from the Unicorns. Start with Duggan's Dragons. Carlos Ferdinand doing well at the back. Forward players failing to create a great deal. Just one attempt on target from Archie back. Over at Unicorns, Davy Collins, 3 attempts, 2 on target, but down on a 5 seems harsh. 6s and 7s across the board for the rest. Wouldn't expect any knee-jerk reactions from Horsey. Duggan is going to do Ronaldinho for Torres. Taken off for Torres. Extend the wing back arrows. Duggan, just confirm that's what you want. Just make sure. Big game. Don't want to get anything wrong. It does seem pretty straightforward. Perfect. And nothing from Dan, so we will run to 60 minutes. Dragons coming forward early in the second half. They got a free kick. Actually back was deflected and cleared by the Unicorns. Bischan with an important tackle in midfield. Dragons looking to push forward. Drawn far too many games this season. If they converted 2 or 3 of them draws into wins, they'd be looking at pushing for the top 2 rather than the playoffs, but just not been able to close games out or capitalise when they're on top. We get to 60 minutes or 61. Jardel with a chance, but it goes high and wide. Just one attempt from the Unicorns since the break. And we'll start with the Unicorns, who still 6s and 7s across the board. Nothing of note to talk about. David Collins having most of the shots. Moved up to a 6. Jardel barely involved, but has completed 2 key passes out of 9 attempted. Over at the Dragons, Matt Kerr's on a 5 and struggling a little bit in midfield, but predominantly defensive midfield options on the bench from the Dragons. Whether it's a change in shape from Duggan, I'm not sure what else he can do to make a difference here. Bischan performing well. Rio Ferdinand having a really good game. And Horses in for Sauer for George Atos on the left-hand side. And push the AMs up front. So Del Vecchio and Collins will go into a 3 alongside Jardel. We'll just see if Duggan is going to do anything in response to that. Big 30 minutes in Dragon season coming up. So we've got Mike Kerr and McInnes. Swap with Vieira. Push back. Taken off up top. So we've got, is that right, Duggan? Yeah, happy with the arrows and set up. Just give a nod. Potentially front 3 versus front 3. It's not something we see very often, but both sides pushing for the win. Don't think Dragons have really got a choice, to be honest. Perfect. Right, last 30 minutes coming up. Dragons versus Unicorns. Dragons coming forward, taking off into the book. Vieira involved. Dragons pushing on a couple of corners. Vieira into the book now. 20 minutes to go, and it is Del Vecchio who opens the scoring for the Unicorns against the run of play. Dragons fail to score when they're on top. Again, Ronaldinho with a chance, but we're heading towards stoppage time, and it is George Atos from the bench who's killed the game for the Unicorns. Dragons 0, Unicorns 2, and a massive blow to Duggan's playoff charge. 10 attempts, 7 on target, 9 and 5 from the away side, but it's the goals that count. Given picks up man of the match as Dragons tried to come on strong in the second half. Beckham and Collins with the assists for Del Vecchio and George Atos. Some really decent performances from Dragons, predominantly in the defensive areas. Mike Kerr struggled. McInnes did well when he came on. But unfortunately, it is Unicorns who take the 3 points. Well played to Dan. Unlucky to Duggan. Next up, we have got the battle of the top 2. Both sides potentially could pick up a Q tonight, I think, with a win. Tuvalu have got Desai and Saeed back in here, which is big. Scholes is out, so Ortega switches to AMC, and Mike Holland is on the right hand side. And for the Warriors, we've got Totti back in, and Figo on the left. Kamuna has come in for Maldini. So Warriors first 2-0 versus second. Get it underway. Totti involved quite a bit from the start as a Dan with a chance for Warriors there as well. Through to 30 minutes. Evening, Rob, you just missed your game, unfortunately. But feel free to go and have a look back. Heading towards half-time, and we do get to half-time. Warriors 0, Tuvalu 0. No shots on target in the first half. 3 attempts from Warriors, just the 1 for the away side. We'll start with them. No issues with any fitness. 6 and 7 ins for Tuvalu. I'll just see if Chris or Liam are about. See Ellis doing a decent job in midfield, but nothing else for the Warriors. Pretty low on chances and creativity from both sides, to be honest. So both teams will roll it to 60. Caught into the book for a pull on Smith. Zidane with the free kick, but cleared by West. Looking lively on the right hand side. Chance for Warriors. Now they've got a free kick. I check onto the loose ball, but comes to nothing, and we get to 60 minutes. Nothing at all. Still no single shot on target in the game. Over at Tuvalu, no real change. Not been a classic. Nervy, tedious affair between two sides who probably would rather not lose. Caught on a booking, no real fitness issues. See if Chris wants to do anything there. Over at the Warriors, we'll have a look. High Chickens Elias are playing well in terms of fitness. We're going to do Zidane. For Strand. And that is all for us. For Tuvalu. Might we see Owen or Lundberg from the bench? Off Owen. And Freddie Youngberg coming on for Overmars. And we will run this game through to a conclusion. Not being the best of affairs. We've got Strand off with a knock. We'll put Rivaldo on for Strand. Swap Totti back in there. carry on. 20 minutes to go. 1 goal wins this, you would think. 2-2 are having their busiest spell in the game. Oh, it was a chance into the last 12 minutes. 2-2 are pushing, and we've got another injury. Taribo West. Hakan Mild on the bench. You would just, well, it is going to have to come on, and then it will be a choice of whether they drop in Said or Desai to swap. They're going to drop in Mild into midfield. And we have also, I did think there was a double injury there, an injury to Roy Keane, the Warriors. So that's going to be to Tradza into midfield. Injuries, interesting to see what happened. We'll have a look at the end of the game. But 10 minutes to go. More injuries than shots on target. Warrior 2-2. And it is Owen who surely seals it for 2-2. And could they be heading towards the table? Owen from the bench has won 2-2, and they're close within a point of Warriors at the top. They came on strong in the last 30 minutes. 3 attempts on target for them, still nothing from the Warriors. Assist coming from Ibrahim Said, and in what was a relatively quiet game, 2-2 pushed on in the last 20 minutes, and Michael Owen, on from 62 minutes, picks up man of the match, touched the ball 9 times, but put the ball back of the net. Not the greatest performance from the Warriors. Okay, but apart from that, nothing of note. So massively well played at 2-2 to Vua, and they will almost certainly be with a queue. You would think potentially both sides could get a queue tonight, but we will see how that after. Next up, we've got Blitz, who line up like this. Kaluznik, oh no, Baldini in for Samuel, who is suspended, and over at Aborigines. I'm not sure again why this is not set up as it should be, but I will just quickly do it now. Trezeguet out for Amoroso. Tony up front, Tomadera up front, and the bench should be Pleticosa, Novotny, Larson, and Trezeguet. Got arrows on them there as well. And that is as it was. Magic. Sorry about that slight delay. Tomadera takes the armband. Blitz versus Aborigines. Blitz could put themselves with 1 foot in the playoffs with a win here based on others. Debris who has the ball in the net, but it is disallowed. Yeah. Looking busy. And it's going to close the table right up with some nice results. Sides below the dotted line, definitely still within a chance. And it is enough for that boy again, who has won game after game for Blitz this season, has opened the scoring. 4 attempts, 3 on target for them. Just 3 attempts from Aborigines, 1 on target. Honcho doing okay at the back. We've got yellow cards for Gerard and Jelevisky. Apart from that, nothing of note for Aborigines. Thierry Henry with the assist for Anelka, who has got his 14th goal 18th goal contribution of the season in game 23. Fantastic return. That is going to run to 60. I wouldn't expect Dimble to do anything other than that as well. But we will just wait for a nod from Dims. And it isn't as is from Dimble as well. So we go on to 60 minutes. No worries at all. Dimble's on mute, not on a shoot. We're going to get to 60 just about. Aborigines coming forward. Sigino with a free kick. Headed away by Esperia. And we get to 60. No real change in chances created for either side. Probably nothing in terms of the ratings. Collusionate, Nicky Butt, Extra Great doing well. And Elka obviously on an 8, doing what he has done all season. Amoroso down on a 5 and not liking that attacking midfield position. Christian Zanoni at right wing back doing well. Gerard as well as Honshaw are on an 8. Roll again from Dimble. We'll just see if we get anything from Daz. Amoroso and Selakovic into a 3. Replace Selakovic with Trezeguet. Assume you mean 3 up front like this. Oh. Amoroso and Selakovic. Agahawa there. Replace Selakovic with Trezeguet. Hang on a second. Let me just scrap that. Selakovic for Trezeguet. Trezeguet and Amoroso in a 3. Agahawa there. Happy? Is that what you want? Just give us a shout, let me know that's all good. Perfect. So Blitz 1, Aborigines 0 into the last half an hour. Blitz coming forward on re-involve Kuhl as well. 10 minutes to go. Blitz will be looking to hold on here and just get the 3 points in the bag and get out of there. And we've got an injury to Mendieta with 3 minutes left on the clock. Suspect it will probably be Alex just as a straight swap. And it is Alex who's going to come on. And Aborigines have, through Trezeguet, got an equaliser, which is not what Dimble will have wanted, with a couple of sides below the dotted line picking up valuable wins. Blitz 1, Aborigines 0. Not the greatest game for the neutral. 6 attempts from Blitz, 4 from Aborigines. But a late equaliser from Trezeguet from the bench. Sigino picks up the assist. Both centre halves picking up bookings but putting in an awful lot of tackles. Good shift from them. Les Razou picks up man of the match. The ratings for Dimble look incredibly strong, but they just couldn't get that second goal. Les Razou picks up man of the match. 8s for pretty much all of the defensive line, defensive midfield, and Anelka, who got another goal. So what does that mean for the table? It means this. Well, we'll run through the results first. AFC 1, Townsville 1, Blitz 1, Aborigines 1, Bushrats 2, Vanuatu 0, Rapa Nui 2, Hobart 1, Dragons 0, Unicorns 2, Warriors 0, Tutavua 1, and Wanganui 0, Vikings 0. And this, Tato, is what it does to the table. Both of the top two have picked up queues. The Warriors and Tutavua guaranteed a place in the playoffs. 3 games left to play. And then we've got Rapa Nui on 39, 3 points behind Tutavua. Vanuatu a further 2 points back. And then Blitz and Wanganui both picking up a point each tonight. Means that Vikings are the closest challengers on 32. And then we've got Bushrats and Dragons on 31. And Hobart back on 29, 6 points back. Probably too far for them. Unicorns a further 7 points back. Mathematically could make the playoffs, but you would say that Blitz and Wanganui are in the driving seat. Vikings with a decent chance, and Bushrats and Dragons probably need an awful lot to go in their favour, but are still in it with 4 points the gap and 9 to play for. Fixtures look like this. Aborigines, Tutavua, AFC, Warriors, Hobart vs Blitz, Townsville Dragons, Unicorns, Wanganui, Vanuatu, Rapa Nui, and then Vikings, Bushrats in a massive game, which will probably eliminate one of them from the playoff hunt. Following on from that, we've got Blitz, Vanuatu, Bushrats, Unicorns, Rapa Nui, Vikings, Dragons, AFC, Tutavua, Hobart, Warriors, Aborigines, and Wanganui, Townsville. And then the last game of the season sees AFC, Wanganui, Hobart, Aborigines, Townsville, Bushrats, Unicorns, Rapa Nui, Vanuatu, Tutavua, Vikings v Blitz, and Warriors hosting the Dragons. Quick look at the form guide. Tutavua top of the table and top of the form table with 4 wins and a draw from the last 5. Unicorns 2 wins and 3 wins and 2 draws, and Vikings 2 draws and 3 wins. AFC and Rapa Nui at the bottom. Player stats: Saeed is still the best player in the league and the only player averaging an 8. Contra, Desai, Dyer, and Vieira behind. Top scorers: Anelka well out in front by himself on 14. Salco and Dilson on 11, Cliver on 10. And assists 7 for Kutsov, Van Nistelrooy, and Aymar. And then Nahicek, Vieri, and Contra back on 6. I will upload the save, move it on, and get packs out hopefully straight away. The save will definitely be up tonight. Packs will be either tonight or tomorrow. But that's all for this evening. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, lads.